Hyperloop, the future of travel. The saying, "the future is now," couldn't be any more true. Air travel is blisteringly fast, and we now have cars that can cross the 300 mile per hour mark. The human answer to technological advances has always been more speed. Faster gadgets, faster vehicles, and quicker ways to get things done. Maybe that's why the rate of improvement of technology is exponential. Who knows? Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on post notifications before we move on, so you won't miss out on the exciting stuff we post each week. What we will be talking about today might be a few years from completion, but it has almost become a reality. Hyperloop, the future of travel. The Hyperloop is a dream about faster travel on land. We can have jet-like speeds without the G-force and turbulence that comes with airplanes. The Hyperloop is a proposed mode of transportation for both passengers and freight. The Hyperloop is an open-source vac train designed from Tesla and SpaceX. These two companies' involvement should point you towards Elon Musk, the brain behind this innovation. A vac train is also known as a vacuum tube train. It is a design for high-speed trains. It works with maglev, or magnetic levitation. I bet it would look like something right out of the movies. The maglev would be used on the train, inside excavated tubes or tunnels, and on the surface for some parts of the journey. Reduced air resistance in the tunnels used by these vac trains would permit the trains to move at hypersonic speeds with very little power. Vac trains should be able to move at about 4,000 to 5,000 miles per hour. That's 5 to 6 times faster than the speed of sound. The Hyperloop is a first of its kind in development. Elon Musk mentioned this concept in 2021. The Hyperloop is described as a seal time of some sort, in which the air pressure is very low. This low air pressure makes the transport, or freight pod, able to travel with almost zero resistance, resulting in hypersonic speeds without expending much energy. The Hyperloop is a better alternative when compared to high-speed trains. It is cost-effective, faster, and will reduce travel times between 2 points, which will be even faster than air travel. The Hyperloop is similar to Linux because Elon Musk and SpaceX have decided to make it exclusively open source. They encourage others to work on it and even have a Hyperloop competition known as the Hyperloop Pod Competition. How does Hyperloop work? The Hyperloop is the most advanced form of transportation known to man. You might be puzzled about how it works. I bet it would be cool to see one in action, but you might have to be a close friend to Elon Musk or work at Virgin Hyperloop One. The Hyperloop works with electricity. It wouldn't need as much electricity as high-speed trains. It runs with additional solar power to make the energy usage and emissions as clean as possible. What makes the Hyperloop so fast and special is its sealed environment that can be depressurized. This means very little air resistance and little friction. If you have a good knowledge of physics, you would know that eliminating drag is a great thing. The Hyperloop pods have no contact with the rails. They use something known as maglev. Magnetic levitation is relatively new. The lack of friction, low air resistance, and low aerodynamic drag combined with a propulsion system means that you have pods that can move at blistering speeds. There are different teams of student-led researchers working on Hyperloop because of its open-source nature. These teams are making breakthroughs and bringing the reality of this tech closer to humanity. Virgin Hyperloop. We cannot talk about the Hyperloop without talking about Virgin Hyperloop One. This is because Virgin Hyperloop One is the only company in the world that has successfully tested the Hyperloop with passengers. Virgin Hyperloop is an American transportation technology company with its headquarters in Los Angeles. They have over 500 employees and have been around since 2014. Virgin Hyperloop has publicly stated that they want to get a Hyperloop train ready, operational and functional by 2021. The first human trials were occupied by Virgin Hyperloop's Chief Technology Officer and co-founder, Josh Geigel, and Head of Passenger Experience, Sarah Lucian. The test took place on a Sunday afternoon in the desert outside Las Vegas, Nevada. The test pod was named Pegasus. The pod was transferred into an airlock, as the Hyperloop was being depressurized. Once the tube was depressurized, the pod accelerated briskly to 100 miles per hour before slowing down. The short distance which the pod had to travel didn't let them realise how fast it could go. Virgin Hyperloop has made some technical changes to Elon Musk's original plan. They chose not to pursue the Los Angeles to San Francisco route that Elon Musk had envisioned. Virgin Hyperloop seems to be ahead of other Hyperloop companies. They have completed a 500-metre development and have also conducted human trials. As of May 2019, the company has managed to raise $400 million. It has a lot of huge investors that are willing to see the project come to life. Will the Hyperloop earn profit? Ideally, if you look at this technology, it hasn't been done before, and we all know that developmental or experimental stages means that you would be spending a lot of money. If all the money spent on development and later on production accrues, will the investors get their invested capital back? Will the investors get their invested capital back with interest on it? Surprisingly, the companies building the Hyperloop technology have argued that it is cheaper to build Hyperloop technology than high-speed train technology. Companies like Virgin Hyperloop One, HTT, Transpod, Arrivo, and others have said that their services could be cut down to 1/3 or half the price of rail services and can build faster. If the Hyperloop is cheaper to make, as they all claim, it should mean that the service would become profitable in no time. However, since this technology is still in its developmental stages, many engineering costs haven't been considered because they probably haven't happened yet. There are also engineering challenges that need to be tackled. All of these could push the costs up. The means of funding these challenges haven't been determined yet, but some private and public investment might be able to take care of it. Will the Hyperloop be a success? Plenty of concept technologies have been pushed aside, not because they lacked funding, but because they couldn't make a technology breakthrough in the challenges they are facing. The Hyperloop is still experimental. We cannot be sure about the reliability or other issues that might pop up. So the huge question hangs over the heads of everyone involved. Is this going to work? Different companies are racing to make this become a reality. But Hyperloop technology has not existed up until now, so it's entirely new. These companies are still far away from being close to completion and are still even doing unmanned tests for safety concerns. Only Virgin Hyperloop has done human trials. As they cannot go from test tracks of 500 metres to lengths that would span between cities or continents in a day, there is still a long way to go. The success of Hyperloop will vary based on location and geography. Things like local economics, government policies, and infrastructure could also affect the success of the Hyperloop. There have been debates about whether the Hyperloop should be constructed overland or underground. So the system that would be used would differ in various locations depending on its inhabitants' tolerance. The overland option would be the best because it would just look like you have an annoying horizontal telephone pole on your property. In urban areas where there are already established infrastructure and hardly any space for anything, it might take a while for this tech to be implemented. In other parts of the world where land is cheaper or less populated, it would be easier to get things up and running on time. Another problem would be capacity. We do not know how much power the Hyperloop has, so we cannot be sure if it would replace the other mass transit options. It is not certain if Hyperloop can carry large amounts of passengers. So even if it does become operational, would it do an excellent job of replacing other mass transit options? What will travel in a Hyperloop feel like? Many critics have warned that travelling at such hyper speeds could affect the body. They have said that the acceleration could be nausea-inducing, or the lateral G-forces on bends could be uncomfortable. The Hyperloop designers have countered that riding the Hyperloop would feel like taking a ride in a passenger plane without the turbulence. About the speed, the Hyperloop will only accelerate at speeds that have tolerable G-forces, which means that the acceleration and deceleration would be gradual. The pods will be windowless and might deny the passengers a view of the scenery, but there are stipulations that there would be designs that will show the passengers the scenery. Each passenger will possibly also have access to their own entertainment system. How much will it cost to build the Hyperloop? When Elon Musk spoke about the Los Angeles to San Francisco Hyperloop plan, he said that the whole project would cost about $6 billion. The Hyperloop journey from LA to San Francisco would only take 30 minutes, and pods would be departing every 30 seconds. For larger pods that can do freight transport, the pods will be worth about $7 billion. Each pod could carry 28 passengers, and Elon Musk planned to spread the capital cost over 20 years without operating costs. The calculations resulted in a price tag of $20 per ticket for a one-way Hyperloop travel from Los Angeles to San Francisco. The Hyperloop pods are priced at about $1.35 million apiece, and 40 would be needed for the service. A mix of passenger and freight pods would mean about $70 million in total. This proposed amount is 9% less than the cost of the proposed passenger high-speed rail system. The Hyperloop could be the future of travel. It would be safer, faster, and cleaner than any other form of travel known to humanity. Do you think the Hyperloop would be a great idea for transportation? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.